Hi, my name's Sam, my pronouns are they, them, and welcome back to my office. So I'm going to start out the weekly reading vlog for this week. Today is Monday, and I've already finished one book. I'm going to try and do some pretty intense reading this week just because it's getting towards the end of the month and my reading goals are not exactly where I want them to be because I've been traveling and I've been working a lot and I've been doing a lot of stuff. So it's time to catch up. So we'll start with the main physical book that I'm hoping to get done this week. I only have the dust jacket for it right now because the physical copy is not in this room. It's House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I'm about halfway through this right now. So I probably got like another 300 pages to go or something like that. I like it so far. You know, it's not my favorite Sarah J. Maas series so far. But I'm not a huge urban fantasy kind of person. So whatever. We can talk about it more later. That's the main physical book that I want to get done this week. And then I've got 4 audiobooks that I want to get done this week, which I know might sound like a lot, but I listen to audiobooks for almost 8 hours a day. So it's a reasonable, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So it's a fairly reasonable goal. So I'm hoping to get through Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer, Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen, Animal Farm by George Orwell, and the final one I would like to kind of dip into dual reading. I have it physically and I have it as an audiobook. I've never read them both at the same time, so I kind of want to test that out. It's The Wrath and the Dawn by Renée Ahdieh, which I have my physical copy right here. So those are all of the things that I'm definitely hoping to get done this week. I don't know much about Skin of the Sea or Instant Karma, but Skin of the Sea is supposed to be like a mermaid fantasy, and I'm really into the ocean vibes right now, so I want to see if that's something that I want to continue reading, like going into those mermaid ocean fantasy vibes. And Instant Karma just kind of looks like a cute little YA romance, which I'm still trying to decide if I like those or not anymore. But I know that I like Marissa Meyer, so maybe that'll give me a little bit more of an idea. Okay, let's talk about the thing that I finished today. I finished my audiobook of This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I'm pretty sure this is a series that she goes by Victoria. Yeah, she does. I have a physical copy. I've already read this. This was a reread because I would like to read Our Dark Duet by V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab. But this was a story about 2 teenagers. One is Kate Harker, and she is the daughter to like kind of what the equivalent of like a crime mafia boss is in this city that's kind of plagued by monsters that appear after like violent acts. So someone's murdered, there's a certain type of monster that rises from that act. That kind of thing. And then August Flynn, and he is actually a monster on the south end of the city. Kate's on the north end of the city. August, I think he's a Sumai. Don't quote me on the exact one. And he is the kind of monster that comes from like the worst of the worst evil acts physically possible. He was created after a school shooting. So it's kind of their whole story. August is sent to befriend Kate because tension between the north and south side of the city are rising, and the truce between the two sides of the cities that was drawn up after like a massive war, they're kind of predicting that it's starting to come to the end. So it's kind of their story of them meeting, Kate figuring out what August is, and where loyalties really lie on either side, and what kind of greater plans throughout the two sides of the cities are turning out to be. So it wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't my favorite by her, but from what I understand, it's one of her earlier novels, and I thought it was still a fun time. Like, I really loved the concept of it. Like, what an awesome concept of just like having this world where evil acts occur and therefore these monsters rise from these evil acts. That's pretty cool. It's definitely YA. It's definitely like that audience, which is obviously not me anymore, which is fine. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I would probably give it like a solid 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it, genuinely, and I am definitely still going to read Our Dark Duet. I don't know when I'm going to read it, but I'll read it eventually. So that's where I am so far. I will check in with everyone when an update arises, either later tonight or tomorrow. Okay, so today is Tuesday, and it's almost 8 o'clock right now. I've been home from work for a couple hours, but I wanted to give a quick reading update before I get kind of settled down for the night to do even more reading. So my main focus today was Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. Currently I'm 77% through, and I'm actually enjoying it. It's not really what I expected at all. I don't know really what I was expecting. So this is about this young girl named Simi. She is kind of like a mermaid. They call her a Mami Wata. It sounds bad coming out of my mouth. It sounds much better when the audiobook narrator says it. Also, let me just say that the audiobook narrator has like the most soothing voice. It's really nice. Yeah, so she's considered a Mami Wata, which is like a mermaid. And what her job basically is her deity has assigned her the task of collecting souls that die at sea to give them kind of like a peaceful farewell into the afterlife, because obviously dying at sea is a very traumatic experience for soul, body, everything. And instead of doing that with one boy who falls overboard off of a slave ship, she saves him because he is still alive when he falls into the water, and she gets to him. So it's kind of like their journey from there. Ultimately her actions have some major consequences in terms of like, I don't want to say the political atmosphere of the deities, but yes, the political atmosphere, like the foundation of how these deities work and like their history and the rules that they've come up with because of it. So she's journeying to try and make amends to like the main creator of the world with this young boy who she has saved. And it gets really wrapped up in like the climate of what is going on with these deities and like power struggles between them, and it's just kind of a little bit crazy. I think that's kind of what it is I wasn't really expecting there to be such a deity-focused power struggle going on there, and really like working with the lore of that. I like it. It's really interesting. It's kind of a fun thing to see broken down. There's definitely like some romance going on too between the two main characters, but it's nice. It's like, obviously they're young, they're not adults yet, and there's just kind of like, they're from two different worlds because she's a mermaid and he's a human, and consequences will be brought on from that romance, of course, as there always are. But the romance, I think, is sweet. It's not too overpowering, and it's certainly not too quick. I feel like I'm getting little pieces of their chemistry. The world building and the kind of the relationships throughout the deities, those are really interesting and really pretty well-rounded. I don't feel like there are parts that I'm getting lost at, so everything's being really well explained. There are some side characters coming on that I don't really love. They're kind of giving me some bad vibes. But speaking of bad vibes, Simi, the mermaid, she really has like a vibe detector inside her. She just happens to like start getting a feeling and a vibe whenever something is even like the tiniest bit off. Whether she listens to that or not is not the case, but she's always got like the little indicator of like, that's something's not right. Something around here is not right. I don't know what it is, but something ain't it. So that's pretty interesting too. I mean, I guess it's a little bit convenient at times, but she often doesn't act on them, so it's not really very convenient for her. It's more of convenient for us as a reader. So far, I'm enjoying it. So I'll finish that tomorrow, and then I'll probably move on. I'll either end up, depending on what the ending of this is, I will either move on to Animal Farm or Instant Karma. So it'll be Instant Karma if the ending of this isn't like super happy, super like wrapped up in a little bow. Because I'm kind of in the vibe for that. If it's got kind of like a cute, sweet ending, then I'll move over to Animal Farm by George Orwell. So yeah, that's where I'm at so far. I'm gonna go take the dog out so she can get ready for bed, so we can both hop into bed and read some more tonight. I am going to work on House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. Try and get a little bit more of that done. I read like 20 pages last night before I passed out and fell asleep. So, hoping to get a little bit farther on that. So yeah, I will see everyone tomorrow. Good morning! So I just wanted to give everyone a quick update on some reading that I've gotten done. So I finished Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. It was amazing. I really loved it. The author's note explained that it was written based on her love of The Little Mermaid as a kid, and her focus on how important representation is for kids. So she started doing research into African lore regarding mermaids and found the lore of the Mami Wata. So I thought this was amazing. I thought the ending did it for me. It wasn't a happy ending. Honestly, I enjoyed the fact that it didn't end in like a happily ever after, like they got together and all of that. It was more of a realistic ending. I thought the lore itself was amazingly done. I thought it was easy to follow, but still really intricate and detailed. I just thought that it was everything I could have ever wanted without me ever knowing that I wanted it. The audiobook narrator was amazing. The character development was fantastic. The demonstration of injustice within power structures was so intricate. It was perfect. Honestly, the only thing that I could say against it is probably that I think the things that I have to say against it are some of the middle sections of it. Like, it felt like at certain points it was dragging a little bit. Like, the pacing might have been a bit off towards the middle of the story. Then once you hit the end of the story, I felt like the pacing was perfect. I even felt like the pacing in the beginning was pretty amazing. So I'm giving this like a 4-star. I thought it was incredible. And if you are into like mermaid kind of fantasies and you want a shorter, I think it's a standalone. It feels like a standalone in its ending. Then I think this is a good option. And then, because that wasn't a particularly happy, mushy ending, I went over to Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer, which I DNF'd like 9 hours into the audiobook. The main character, I know she's unlikable. I know that there's supposed to be character progression in there, but I think that I don't have it in me anymore to read about children making horrible mistakes. And like very clear, like, mistakes that happen due to a lack of communication. I feel like I can't do it anymore. So I got what I wanted out of this. It was kind of like a, do I want to continue on my YA contemporary that I've been doing since I was like 15? The answer is no. The answer is I'm done. I liked the writing style because I like Marissa Meyer's writing style. That was my Aflac duck, sorry. I thought the characters were interesting. The main character, Prudence, she's very like overachieving and a perfectionist and doesn't give people the benefit of the doubt and doesn't work well with people, and I related to her a little bit too much, but I think that her sense of self-righteousness and the sense of she knows everything, I can't do it anymore. We got to a point in the story where she was about to make such a massive error that I can't, like, the second that she was in the middle of doing it, I was like, nope, I'm done now. I've gotten my answer, I can't do this anymore. We're good. Am I still going to do YA fantasy? Absolutely. Am I still going to do like other kinds of YA? Absolutely. But I think that for the most part, YA contemporary is not going to be as much of the vibe. Maybe if it's like LGBTQIA+, maybe. But I don't have it in me anymore to feel that level of stress while I'm reading about 15-year-olds. Also, the word sexy was thrown at a 15-year-old, and I can't get behind it. I can't. Like, I remember me at 15, and I realized that this probably was, like, accurate for me at 15, but I can't do it anymore. So, DNF'd that one. Then moved on to George Orwell's The Animal Farm. I'm, like, halfway through it. It's pretty good so far. I read 1984 in high school, so I like George Orwell's writing. I think it's going fine. I'll probably have more updates when I'm more involved in it. I also read 100 pages of my Sarah J. Maas book, House of Sky and Breath, I think. And I don't have much to say about what happened in those 100 pages at this current moment. Other than, one, I love Bryce. She's an ass. I love her. Two, I love Hunt. I really do. But the whole alpha hole vibe is definitely my vibe. I love Rune. I can't pronounce his name right. I know I can't. But I love him so dearly. He's such just like a little smush ball. He's so protective, but he's just a little smush ball. But can we not use the word seed in sexual scenes, please? Can we, like, annex the word seed from that kind of language? Because, like, everything was going good. And then they ended the scene with the word seed. And then I just screamed. I was like, no, you ruined it. You ruined it. I can't. So that's where I'm at so far. So it's Friday. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to work. I'll read more at work. I'll read more after work. And give everyone probably another update later. Okay, hello. So today is Sunday, and today is the day that this video is supposed to be posted. It will get posted, but I wanted to give a final update for the week because I might have finished 2 books today. It's like 3 o'clock right now. So let's start with the easy one, the one that I don't have that many feelings about. George Orwell's Animal Farm. I finished that today, before I had breakfast with my sister. And my final thoughts are, it was fine. I think I would have liked it more if I read it physically. I didn't like the audiobook narrator. I was really against that audiobook narrator. Like, I understand why it sounded the way it sounded, because ultimately, like, it's supposed to portray a certain effect of greed and all mightier than thou, and, you know, the pigs turning into basically the same thing as humans, and power structures, and all of that garbage. But it just was a little grating against the ear. I'll probably end up reading it physically at some point because it's a short book. Like, it's not a long book. And I think that there are valuable things to be said about it. And I think that a lot of them did not translate in audiobook format the way that a lot of audiobooks work for me. I think that the narrator's voice really just took away from the entire experience, so I couldn't fully immerse myself in it. So, there. That's all I really have to say about that. I finished it. Finally. I think that I will give this like a 3.5 to a 4 star. House of Sky and Breath was certainly not my favorite of Sarah J. Maas's books. Now, it was not worse than Tower of Dawn. I don't think there's anything that she could ever write that would be worse in my eyes than Tower of Dawn. But could I tell you half of the things that happened in here? In this 800-page book, could I tell you half of what happened here? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I feel like this is the only time where I feel like one of her books could have been shorter. Besides Tower of Dawn. Tower of Dawn, I have a vendetta against it. So we're going to pretend like that one doesn't exist. But I feel like there's a lot of filler in this book, which I feel was unnecessary. Because I spent a lot of this book, like, what is going on? I don't understand where we're going with this. I thought that this was, like, supposed to be, like, a continuation of issues with the angels. That is not the case. But that unearthing of the major plot point for this book, I feel like was not hinted at properly to keep us as engaged as I would like to have been. Therian as a character, I can see him going somewhere, but I don't know where he's going, and I feel like I got way too much of him in this. I don't really care about Therian that much. Let's talk about Rune. I'm gonna keep saying Rune. I know that it's probably wrong, but I also say Rysand and not Rysand. So, he's just a baby. He's so... Okay, so I remember his plot points throughout this book more than anything else, because this was me playing the game of, who is this love interest? And there were definitely some characters that I suspected until other hints were thrown in. So I thought that this love interest for him was really engaging and fun, and I enjoyed the fact that I sat there at certain points and I was like, Jesus Christ, can you really not suspect who this is? She just told you a story. She just told you a whole story that revealed her identity, basically, and you are still so dumb that you can't see who it is. But I thought that was a really engaging point of the story. We all know that I love Bryson Hunt. Bryce is an idiot. An absolute idiot. Do I still love her? Yeah. You know, I think that there's a lot to be said about her, but I don't know if I think it's courageous and empowering, the actions that she has taken in this book, despite her other options, or if I kind of resent her for those options, like, for her choices. Could I have read 800 pages of Bryson Hunt being sweet little babies in love? Absolutely. I could have read just a whole entire 800 pages of them being smushy and lovey and sassy and just everything. And that's not what I got. And I knew that's not what I was getting, because I don't know how long this series is going to be, but Sarah J. Maas definitely has a tendency of, like, having a good, probably, like, 400 pages of love interests being separated. It happens in every series. Every single series. It's just one of, like, her signature moves, I think, at this point, which is fine, but I'm still upset about it. I'm still upset about it. So this is the case of, I'm super excited about where this is going now. The last page of this made me tear up, because I'm so excited about where it's going and what might happen in the next book. But I can say the first third of this didn't do what I think it was supposed to do. I think that it was kind of leading you on, like, a circle chase of, like, where are we going? And it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't my favorite. Bryson Hunt aren't even, like, my favorite couple out of all of the series. But I do really like, so far, that she has given me, like, this one couple to go after. And she has not switched it up on me this time. So I enjoy that. I enjoy Rune. Ethan, he's okay. I don't dislike him. I'm curious to see where he ends up as a character and where his line goes, but I'm not, like, all down for him. Therian, I just really don't care about Therian at this point, in the slightest. I think this is going to be a hardcore case of second book. Like, where the second book is the least favorite of everyone's for these series. And I feel like the third book is going to come in with a vengeance. I'm excited for the third book. I have no idea when it's coming out. I have no idea what's going on with Sarah J. Maas at this point. I'm just waiting. I know I'll know about it when something comes out, or, like, is getting ready to come out, because everyone will freak out about it. So I don't even feel the need to, like, stay up to date at this point. Like, I have smaller authors that I would rather, like, stay up to date with, because I know that if they do something, I'm not going to hear about it. But I know with Sarah J. Maas, I'm going to hear about it, whether I want to or not. Yes, I want to. But my point is, she's unavoidable at this point. And reading this just makes me really want to go back and reread the A Court of Thorns and Roses series again, for probably the 5th or 6th time. And will I do that? Maybe. I don't think that I should, ultimately. You know what? I'm going to split it even. I'm going to say a 3.75 for this one. Certainly not my favorite. I liked the first one better, but really excited to see where this goes. I'm going to give you one more update, because I did start the other book that I meant to read this week. So I did start The Wrath of the Dawn by Renée Ahdieh. I started with the audiobook today after breakfast, so I'm only like an hour and some change in, and I'm going to read more of it today. So I didn't finish that one, but I did get it started. So this week I listened to and finished Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. Listened to and finished Animal Farm by George Orwell. Listened to Instant Karma by Marissa, Meyer, and DNF'd it. I'm pretty sure that I started and finished The Savage Song by Schwab this week. I finished House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas this week. And I started on The Wrath of the Dawn by Renée Ahdieh. So this week I finished 4 books, which I'm going to say is pretty solid for me. So I'm pretty happy with how this went. So that has been it for this week's reading vlog. I hope everyone has a wonderful week upcoming. And I'll see you guys next week.